Statler and Dempsey from 90 Day Fiance are one of the most controversial couples on this season because on the show they only just met, but they're literally already having problems, and now everyone is wondering what is their current relationship status. Like, are they still together or did they already break up? Well, the truth about what is going on is honestly pretty shocking. So the season that's currently airing was obviously filmed a while ago, so what we're seeing isn't exactly the most recent stuff that's happened in Statler and Dempsey's relationship. For that, we have to look at their social media, and I actually did some digging, and what I found out is pretty interesting. So Statler and Dempsey don't really post about each other right now, for obvious reasons. Statler doesn't really post on her Instagram all that much. Her last post is from April, and the one before that was actually in February. But here is the thing. The February post actually included a massive hint about her and Dempsey's current relationship. So on the show, Statler said that if things go well, she'll probably move to the UK, and based on filming timelines, she probably said this about a year ago, but her February post mentioned that she was still in Texas, and this means that she probably has not moved to the UK yet, and she definitely wasn't just there a couple of months ago, so maybe things did not work out with them. But at the same time, they do still follow each other on social media, and Dempsey actually liked one of Statler's more recent posts, so they do at least seem to be on good terms. And plus, there's also the fact that Dempsey was actually in Texas back in April. Yes, she was in Austin and San Antonio, and based on her Instagram, it looks like she even went to the Austin Kite Festival, and I feel like if she was in Austin, there was a 99.999% chance that she was definitely there to see Statler. So it's likely that they are still together, but for some reason, they're still doing the whole long distance thing, and Dempsey literally just shared a photo to her stories a couple of days ago that hinted at her being in the UK. So again, I do think that they're actually, living in their own countries, but maybe that doesn't mean that they're not together. Maybe they're just taking things slow or deciding if it's a good idea for Statler to actually move to the UK, because she did say that she would be open to it, but at the same time, we all saw how she struggled with the way Dempsey lives, and she's clearly not a fan of the whole off-the-grid lifestyle, so maybe that's why the move hasn't happened yet. And, someone also on Reddit theorized that Dempsey and Statler could potentially be engaged, and this is because Dempsey recently posted a photo of herself that showcased a ring on her ring finger, and the ring did look like it could be an engagement ring. But I don't think that's actually what it was, because for one, Dempsey had the ring on her right hand, and usually you would wear your engagement ring on your left hand, so this makes me think that the two of them are probably not engaged, and plus, like I said, it looks like they still live in different countries, so an engagement would probably not be, the smartest decision right now. They should definitely figure out where they're going to live first, and it would actually make sense to talk about marriage now if they're not even sure if their lifestyles are actually even compatible. And honestly, I'm still a little skeptical about them being able to figure this whole thing out, because they obviously have a good amount of chemistry together, but beyond that, they just don't seem that compatible. I mean, Statler's clearly not a fan of Dempsey's lifestyle. I mean, she has struggled with the living conditions and the lifestyle and all, and adjusting to all that, and the two of them obviously have some major communication issues, and Statler does seem like she's a little insecure about some things, and she was worried about how Dempsey would deal with her ADHD, but that's not even their biggest issue, because the two of them also had a really bizarre conversation about cheating that raised some major red flags, and Statler said that she thought that Dempsey cheated on her when she started messaging her slightly less often, and Dempsey found that pretty concerning, especially since she warned Statler beforehand that she was going to text her a little less, and then she asked Statler if she'd ever cheated on anyone, and Statler said yes, and she confessed that she cheated on her ex once. And then Dempsey said that she had never cheated on anyone, not even once, and honestly, the whole conversation was just pretty telling, and I just don't think these two are on the same wavelength at all, and this especially seems clear when it comes to intimacy, because Statler recently, was kind of complaining about something pretty bizarre on her Instagram stories, and she mentioned that a lot of people on Reddit were criticizing her for talking about being intimate way too much, and she complained that these comments weren't even that original, but that the whole thing was just really weird. And I mean, first of all, what was she even doing on Reddit? It just doesn't seem like a good idea to go on a platform where people discuss what they think about you and then complain when they don't like you. But what did she think she was going to find there? But Either way, her criticism of the comments felt a little bit ridiculous because the fact is that she does talk a lot about intimacy, and she's been very open about how experienced she is, and it's clear that this side of the relationship really matters to her. I mean, she literally has said that a good intimate life was extremely important, and she did mention that love was the most important thing. But I kind of got the impression that she was really focused on the intimacy aspect of it all, and this is actually another reason why I'm not sure if Dempsey and Statler are all that compatible, because while Statler seemed obsessed with physical intimacy, Dempsey just wasn't. And from what we've seen so far, I feel like Statler constantly talking about it is making Dempsey feel really insecure, and I don't think Dempsey would describe herself as, an expert in that department, and she's admitted that she's nowhere near experienced as Statler is, and that obviously doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, having different levels of experience is totally normal, but it becomes an issue when one partner talks about it so much that it starts stressing the other person out, which seems to be exactly what's happening with Statler and Dempsey. But there's even more to it, because Dempsey also said that this other thing that I found a little bit concerning. She said that she wasn't normally one to be intimate with someone that early on in the relationship, and someone on Reddit pointed something out very worrying about that. And Dempsey obviously ended up being intimate with Statler, but she said that it felt right in the moment, but it's also possible that she just kind of felt pressured into it, and she previously admitted that she was worried that Statler might not want to be with her if her needs were not being met, which is a sad, red flag. And I mean, I hope that Dempsey doesn't feel pressured to do things she doesn't actually want to do, because that would just be horrible and sad and not compatible. And I'm sure that Statler wouldn't want that either. And I do think the two of them really do care about each other, and they wouldn't want to hurt each other on purpose. And they probably just need to work on their communication, because as of right now, they don't seem like the most compatible people out there. And I really don't want either of them to get hurt. So if they are still together, which seems like they actually might be, I hope that they've worked on the things and fixed some of their issues, because at the end of the day, I really only do wish them the best. And if they are genuinely happy together at this point, then that's great, but I really hope they're not just staying together for the sake of it. But what do you guys think? And do you think that Statler and Dempsey are still together? And do you think they make a good couple? Guys, let me know in the comments below.